Well, it's Halloween season, and I would try to do the whole creepy opening kind of deal, but we'll save that for next time. Right now, let's talk about Batman: The Last Halloween. But hey, it's more Halloween-y than the other issues, since this issue mainly focuses on a zombie. Now, it has been 4 months since I covered the last 2 issues, so here's a bit of a recap of what happened. Though, link in the description, of course, for the playlist, for a more detailed synopsis. Last time on Batman: The Last Halloween, Batman is on the hunt for Mario Falcone, and eventually finds him held prisoner by Catwoman and Poison Ivy. And though he's successful at saving him, and freeing Catwoman from Ivy's control, Ivy does get away, though she is attacked by what we believe is the Holiday Killer, but is actually Calendar Man, who is then held gunpoint by what looks like another Holiday Killer. Meanwhile, Catwoman also gets away and ends up meeting with Mario's mother, desiring something from her, and while that's happening, Batman and Gordon are investigating the crime scene where Ivy got shot, where Batman comes to the theory that Harvey Dent and Gilda are the ones behind it all. And yeah, clearly that's not true, but does he learn that here? Well, let's dive into issue 8, find out. Warning: spoilers. This issue begins on Father's Day, and before you ask, the reason I didn't cover this on Father's Day, because this issue was published on July 30th, a month after Father's Day. Yeah, these books keep getting more and more delayed, and apparently it's spreading throughout Loeb's work since Batman Hush 2 also got delayed to October. It's Batman and Gordon this time, as Bruce says he has Robin on another mission. A mission that we unfortunately don't get to learn this issue. But we do learn why Batman wants Gordon with him, and that's because he knows that Barbara left him on Valentine's Day, and he thought that this case would be a good distraction for him, since he probably wouldn't want to go home on Father's Day knowing there isn't a family waiting for him. It's a pretty solid moment for Bruce, showing that he really does care for his friends, though it kind of bites him in the ass a bit later. They've come to Arkham Asylum to talk to Dr. Thorne, and demand some answers. Specifically, he wants Catwoman and Ivy's medical records, thinking that there'd be a clue since Ivy was shot in the exact same spot Selina was shot. He's reluctant, but complies, but as he does, he reveals that he really doesn't care for Batman, or Harvey Dent, since he blames them both for his current line of employment. The night when Harvey Dent became Two-Face, he broke out of the hospital, and because Thorne was the doctor who was treating him, he was blamed for Harvey escaping, and well, you know, the massacre, which led him to work in the asylum as the resident crime doctor. He also reveals to Batman Catwoman and Ivy's wounds, though they were both shot in the same spot, and even shot with the same kind of gun, how they were shot was still pretty different. Ivy was at a distance while Selina was shot up close, with Thorne even playing with the idea that it might have been self-inflicting. Batman asked why she would even do that, but Thorne went, no, that's not his job. Batman punches Thorne in response, which leads to him saying that there might be someone who knows, that being Oswald Cobblepot, who, despite breaking out a few issues back, only for the Joker to recapture him, he seems to be enjoying himself as he's eating raw fish. Ugh. But that's interrupted as Gordon comes in and beats the living crap out of him. Why? Because it turned out his men were the ones who kidnapped Gordon's son, beating the ever-loving hell out of him since, 1, you don't fuck with a guy's kid, and 2, because of this, his wife divorced him. Jim wants to know who hired him, with Ozzy revealing it was Gilda, which we already know is a lie since in the end of issue 1, we saw the exact same kind of men kidnap her and Harvey. Speaking of Harvey, he's interrogating Julian Day and asking what he's even doing there, only for him to reveal that Gilda was the one that captured him in the end of the last issue. She did it as a way to get Two-Face to talk to her. Yeah, a reminder here, right now the Two-Face personality is in control and not Harvey, but she thinks she knows how to get to Harvey, that being the reveal that she's pregnant. Yeah, it turned out that she actually saved one of her eggs and one of Harvey's sperm samples in the past, and that's how they're gonna have a kid, which, okay, if that was the case, then why were they having this discussion of failing to have kids before? I mean, if that was what they needed to do, I feel like that should have been like the second option when, of course, you know, the traditional way wasn't working out. Whatever. Gilda tells him that they're gonna be parents, but Two-Face isn't really happy about that since last thing his father gave him was the coin. Then also several beatings because, again, Harvey's father was a real scumbag. Batman and Gordon are looking for Harvey and believe that he might be hiding out in the old Falcone Manor. The place has been abandoned since Mario attempted to burn it down. Batman theorizes that the reason Harvey and Gilda would be there would be for poetic reasons. They would build their empire in the ashes of their former enemies. A bit of a stretch, but it turns out they're not too far off as they encounter Solomon Grundy, who is all too ready to kick their asses to next Monday. Though Batman does try to appease to Grundy and convince Grundy that they are friends, after what he did for him in the second issue of Batman Long Halloween. Bruce, that was 2 years ago. Since then, you have done nothing but beat the stuffing out of him. I don't think he's gonna see you as a friend, just because you gave him a turkey leg. Though joke's on me, apparently, as Grundy does seem to stop for a second, only for someone to shoot Batman in the dark. someone carrying the same gun the Holiday Killer carries. Gordon is able to shoot the one who fired, but doesn't get a good look at him. This enrages Grundy, and he proceeds to bring the house down. Harvey and Gilda show up, revealing that they have been hiding there, with Harvey even carrying the two guns the Holiday Killer uses, but instead of dealing with Gordon and Batman, he focuses on saving Gilda, though he tells Batman he's on the wrong side. This, along with the fact that we know that Thorne treated Harvey, does lead to the theory that Thorne might actually be the Holiday Killer in here, since he did have access to every single person that has said so far. Gordon wants Batman to go after Harvey, but Batman will always prioritize on saving a life than taking down a bad guy. So Harvey and Gilda escape, along with Grundy. Wait, did Calendar Man escape too? Because, if not, oh boy. The house is completely destroyed, and Gordon and Batman are pretty banged up, with Batman thinking about what Two-Face said. Meanwhile, in the Gotham jail, Selina is talking to Mario and reveals that, yeah, she's not done with him, and is making very clear to him that he's gonna either keep his vow, or she's gonna take him out. She also revealed that she took a bullet for him on Halloween, so whoever the Holiday Killer is, they weren't aiming for Selina. Before we can learn more about that, she leaves as Mario's mother Louisa comes in and talks to her son, saying that he has to recover as they have some plans, because on Halloween night, he will take down their enemies and make his late father proud. Ending issue 8. This issue was okay. I will admit, it was kind of cool to see Batman and Gordon just teaming up, and Bruce even trying to distract Gordon from the fact that things aren't really great when it comes to his personal life. Though, it did kind of complicate things. Gordon is just looking for an excuse to fight, and along with the mysterious gunshot, which I will admit is actually kind of clever, since you don't know whether it was Two-Face or Gilda or even Calendar Man, since again, we don't actually see what happened to him, or possibly a fourth party that we aren't aware of right now. Though, it did kind of complicate things, whole pregnancy, or certain confessions that we know aren't true, like the stuff with Penguin, since we, the reader, already know what happened that night when Gordon's son got kidnapped. We know Gilda isn't the one responsible. We know that the connections between Selina and Ivy don't seem to be much, since Calendar Man was the one that shot Ivy, not the Holiday Killer. And though we do know that Gilda was the one that actually took Calendar Man, her and Harvey are still clearly not the masterminds, especially since Harvey's doing the whole "you're on the wrong side" bit. Like, I don't know, maybe Loeb's trying to make us second guess ourselves, but it's really not working. When it comes to characters, as I said, with Batman, we do get to see him as most protective. We've seen it so far with him constantly being concerned for Dick's safety, but here we see it expand to not just Dick Grayson, but also James Gordon and Selina, since he doesn't believe that Selina would do something like that, and is really concerned for Jim's emotional well-being as he slowly realizes that maybe putting the guy who's going through a really nasty divorce shouldn't be involved in this case that led to said divorce. Again, I do feel like the whole thing with him and Grundy was still weird. I understand that it's showing that Batman does have sympathy for his enemies. It makes no sense for him to say, "I'm your friend," since again, he hasn't really been friendly to Grundy in almost 2 years in this series. Gordon here is definitely at his most angry and his most chaotic in this series, since, yeah, he is just looking for a fight. He is pissed off. He has nothing to lose, and they even try to compare his rage towards Penguin and later Grundy and Two-Face to his anger towards Flash in Batman Year One, who, to those who don't know, Flash was a dirty cop who has shown up a few times in comics, who in the storyline Batman Year One attacked Jim and threatened his wife and unborn child, only for Jim to follow Flask and then beat the ever-loving shit out of him, and making it very clear not to go near his family. Now, I wouldn't say it would go that far, but I can see the anger within Jim in this issue. As for Two-Face and Gilda, they're definitely an enigma. Even though we know for a fact that neither of them are the mastermind of this storyline, you do kind of wonder what roles they're really playing. Two-Face knows who is behind it, and Gilda seems to know something, we just don't know what. But at the same time, we do know that Gilda is more focused on just having her twisted form of a happy family, while Two-Face in here does seem to have more development when it comes to his own views on fatherhood and his personal issues with his old man. Something that I do hope gets explored a little bit more, but I sort of doubt it. As for Grundy, yeah, there's not much I can say about him. He's just kind of a dragon for Batman to fight. I mean, yeah, we do have that moment where it looks like he's not gonna fight Batman after he says he's friends, but we don't really get any big character moment with Grundy here, which I do think is a shame, since Grundy does have a lot going on for him. He is more than just the zombie zombie of the DC universe. Before he became Grundy, he was Cyrus Gold, a crime boss who was actually more dangerous than most of the crime bosses that Batman faced. But we don't really talk about it here. It's just, Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday. Just saying, kind of wasted potential there, especially since they do talk a lot about legacies and sins of the past, whether it's what happened with the Falcone Manor, or Thomas Wayne saving Carmine all the way back in Batman The Long Halloween, or Thorne's reason for hating Two-Face, and of course the ending scene with Louisa talking to Mario about ending this once and for all and everything their family's been through. We got Becky Coolin on art and David Stewart on colors, and they both do a pretty good job. You might know Coolin for the Image comic Southern Cross, for time on Dark Horse's Conan series, or for another DC project, Batgirls. She does a pretty good job here, though her art style is less reminiscent of Tim Sale's arc and more akin to David Mazzucchelli, the artist for Batman Year One. Kind of makes sense since they try to compare Jim's story to that moment in Batman Year One. The only characters who were drawn similar enough to Tim Sale's art style was a little bit of Grundy, at least when it came to some of the close-ups, and Mario and Louisa, with Louisa looking a lot more like Sophia, all the way down to the suit and the hair, while Mario actually resembles more of Alberto, which makes sense, they are brothers, but most artists usually try to make Mario look like a younger version of Carmine, but the guy had been in pretty bad shape for a while, so he would have lost a little bit of weight. Issue it was fine, but it's definitely not giving this storyline more momentum. It's just kind of keeping in a decent pace where you could still be invested in it, but not to the point where you must read the next issue. We got 2 issues left, so who knows? Maybe Loeb will somehow make this work out, but again, I do kind of doubt it. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more updates, and follow me on Blue Sky. Next time, we are going to dive into Halloween proper as we tell a chilling tale with blood, gore, and some good dogs. Later.